Many thanks, Laddie. Well, we're starting off first with the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, who have been given a bye. Well, first of all, they will face the winners of the first round between Sierra Leone and, of course, Guinea-Bissau in next year's Under-20 Africa Nations Cup qualifiers. Guinea-Bissau will host Sierra Leone between March the 30th and April the 1st and travel to Freetown for the return leg, scheduled for April the 20th and the 22nd. Now, the Flying Eagles, who drew a bye in the first round, will then play away to the overall winners of the first round tie, that's between Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau, on May the 11th or 12th, and then the return leg in Nigeria will be played in a fortnight. Coach Gernot Rohr says the Super Eagles can't be installed as favourites to win this year's FIFA World Cup. Well, this followed expectations from football fans across Nigeria that the team could well emerge champions of the world in Russia. However, the German tactician insists there is a lot of work for his team to do ahead of the tournament. Now, the local organizing committee for this year's FIFA World Cup in Russia says the tournament will be perfect, and in a few weeks, everything will indeed be ready. Speaking in Sochi at the plenary session for coaches of the 32 World Cup teams, the LOC explained that preparation in the regions is progressing well. Russia is set to host the World Cup from June the 14th to July the 15th in 12 venues spread across 11 cities, including Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kazan, and Sochi. Former Manchester City midfielder Samir Nasri has been banned from football for 6 months because of a drip treatment he took at a Los Angeles clinic back in 2016. Nasri took the treatment while on holiday, but it contravened World Anti-Doping Agency rules, leading to a Spanish anti-doping investigation. UEFA imposed a suspension, which it says is open to appeal. Nasri is without the club, having left Turkish side Antalyaspor in January. And Beijing has held a ceremony marking the start of the tour of the Olympic flag leading up to the city's 2022 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games earlier today. The flag arrived in Beijing on Monday and was carried on stage at the Badaling section of the Great Wall of China in Yanqing district, which will host competitions for the bobsleigh and skiing. There are, however, concerns that the Yanqing venue doesn't have enough accommodation for the athletes, but the LOC insists it will renovate the existing hotels while building 10 more hotels before the Games proper. And that's a wrap on sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Foreign news. The United Nations Refugee Agency says the number of refugees killed during protests against food aid cuts in Rwanda has risen to 11. The UNHCR adds that 8 refugees were from the Democratic Republic of Congo in the Karongi town of the western part of the country, while another 3 died in Kiziba camp. Rwandan police say that on Friday, 5 people had died during the violence, which also left officers and aid workers injured. The altercation came 2 days after thousands of people worked almost 15 kilometers from the Kiziba refugee camps to the UNHCR offices, angry at a cut in food aid. The World Food Programme has been forced to cut the amount it gives refugees twice in the last 6 months. Fighting has continued in the rebel-held eastern Ghouta area of Syria in spite of a 5-hour pause ordered by Russia. Activists say the government carried out a number of air and artillery strikes, but state media accused rebels of shelling a humanitarian corridor meant to allow civilians to live. As a result, there were no UN aid deliveries or medical evacuations.
Allegations that were mentioned in the report, that when they were brought up, they were fragmented, they were incomplete and unsubstantiated. Regardless of that, further action was taken essentially to bring, where possible, the partners for training to Jordan, which is at times very difficult. The further monitoring and reporting mechanisms were put in place, such as checking randomly with those who have received aid, how they have received it, when, how, what quantities, etc. Also, a specific partners were selected simply to monitor the protection issues in the course of the aid distribution as well.
And the main news again, at least 20 persons were feared killed today following an attack by gunmen on 4 communities in Demsa local government area of Adamawa State. Today also, the federal government revealed plans to investigate the circumstances that led to the abduction of 110 schoolgirls from Dapchi, as the House of Representatives described the incident as a national shame. And heavy fighting broke out today in rebel-held eastern Ghouta area of Syria in the first 5-hour pause ordered by Russia. That's tonight's news at 10. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ladi Akeredoluale. Good night.